Hi everyone, welcome to the Little Jade Tree News, Asian American News and Beyond for Kids by Glow. That's me. I'm your cheerful virtual newscaster for kids, here to give you the latest relevant news on Asian Americans and beyond. Don't forget to subscribe and click the button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Little News Ears. Find the Little News Ears podcast or join the Little News Ears at littlenewsears.com. Everything is all Little News Ears, and that's so cool, right? For this third episode, the theme is Foster Healing and Love for Asian American Community. For the Let's Play news, American Girl First Asian American Doll. Source is NBCnews.com. American Girl's First Asian American Girl of the Year Doll 2022. This is found on NBC News by Daniel Campoamor. The story was originally from today.com. This is the news that many of your moms, sisters, and cousins would love. Who says that dolls can only be for girls, right? Or that dolls can be girls. Did you know that there are also boy dolls? American Girl launches its first Asian American Doll of the Year representing character of Korean Tan. American Girl of the Year that comes also with the first ever 14-inch tall Little Sister doll. The book will feature Corinne Tan's ski adventures with Sister Gwen and groom-to-be ski patrol rescue canine Flurry, wrapped with values on love, kindness, tolerance, and exposure to anti-Asian hate crimes. Wow, this is so lovely. Her story is written by Wendy Shang, who was also the author of The Great Wall of Lucy. American Girl is an American line of dolls under Pleasant Company by Pleasant Rowland of 18 inches tall that came out on May 5, 1986. American Girl dolls include a lineup of both boy and girl dolls aged 8 to 14 years old, depicting different ethnicities and social classes as well. American Girl dolls are sold with books altogether narrated from the viewpoint of the chosen girl. Initially, they focused on American history, but later on included contemporary life. The best thing is that you can also have your doll like you, like your own style, which they call truly made dolls, as well as custom made dolls known as create your own dolls that you can design and accessorize, which was released in 2017. It was also during that year that American Girl released Logan, the first boy doll. Pleasant Company was awarded 8 times the Oppenheim Toy Portfolio Award and was tagged as National Hall of Fame in 2021. For our school is cool news, reinforcing Asian American studies for mandates. This is written by Tat Bellamy Walker, which you can find in NBCnews.com. Historically, these universities adopted the first national curricula for Asian American Studies, University of California, Berkeley, University of California, Los Angeles, and San Francisco State University. The said leaders of the Asian American groups, Nina Fedor, founder of AAPI Youth Rising, an advocacy group for Asian American Pacific Islanders, together with Kani Ilangovan, Indian American founder of Make Us Visible New Jersey, an advocacy coalition based in Connecticut, New Jersey, and Florida, and John Yang, Executive Director and President of Asian American Advancing Injustice, have been supporting the mandates that Asian American and Pacific Islander history be taught in schools, especially in the level of K to 12. Politicians such as Senator Tina Maharat from Ohio State University, from Ohio State, and U.S. Representative Grace Meng contributed also in the legislation. Learning some facts from history, such as AAPI being tagged yellow peril. From Wikipedia, the yellow peril is also the yellow terror and the yellow specter. It's a racial color metaphor that depicts the peoples of East or the people of East and Southeast Asia as an existential danger to the Western world. Learning about Chinese Exclusion Act, which is based from Wikipedia as the act signed by President Chester Arthur on May 6, 1882, restricting immigration to the United States. Also learning about the San Francisco bubonic plague from 1900 to 1904, where infection from fleas and rodents happened, plus issue on racism. Illinois started mandating teaching of Asian American studies last July, while New Jersey and Ohio and other states such as Ohio, California, New York, Florida, and Connecticut are expected to follow soon with the curricula. California was known to have passed legislation on about ethnic studies for high school. California's ethnic studies model curriculum would tackle on bits and pieces on lessons such as the following. Model minority myth from Wikipedia refers to minority demographic wherein members are seen to be attaining a higher degree of socioeconomic success than the average population. Xenophobia, bigotry. From Wikipedia pertains to fear of others who are different to us, as well as there is intolerance of their viewpoints. Connotes also prejudice. And other perceived privileges, the AAPI, Asian American and Pacific Islanders, would want to emphasize on persisting existence and to address issues on racism, discrimination, prejudice, and how this leads to division in the community and with other groups. Special edition news. A silver lining for Asian Americans with disabilities. This is article by Victoria Nampung. You can find this in nbcnews.com. AADI, or the Asian Americans with Disabilities Initiatives, was founded by Jennifer Lee, Korean American from Princeton University, and according to Lee, with the goal of amplifying disabled Asian American voices and creating space to explore the intersectional identities of being both disabled and Asian Americans, primarily accessibility to resources to fight stigma, anti-Asian racism, and ableism. AADI published Asian Americans with Disabilities Resource Guide, an online 80-page guide enlisting comprehensive peer-reviewed researches that can be helpful for Asian Americans with disabilities and their caretakers. This article featured the following. Jennifer Lee, founder of AADI, who had Crohn's disease in 2020. From Wikipedia, Crohn's disease is a type of inflammatory bowel disease, or IBD. It causes inflammation of your digestive tract, which can lead to abdominal pain, severe diarrhea, fatigue, weight loss, and malnutrition. They say this feels crampy, painful, usually in the lower right abdomen. For Jennifer, after undergoing through different surgeries and treatments, she realized the interplay importance of Asian Americans having disability and advocacy, as well as dealing with gender issues. Justin Chang, AADI's research director, a University of California, Berkeley graduate, was born with encephalopathy. From Wikipedia, this refers to damage or disease that affects the brain due to infections, toxins, trauma, and others, where a major symptom is an altered mental state, like when there is a loss of alertness or memory loss, which we call amnesia. Ikshu Pandey, AADI's community director, college student from Johns Hopkins University, a partially deaf and blind, due to virus that she had as a child. She worked also on the AADI resource guide and would want to hear more of your stories to share in the community. Community Immunity News. People gather in honor of NYC Asian American subway victim. This was written by Sakshi Venkatraman, which you can find in NBCnews.com. On January 18, 2022, the Asian American community, friends, family members, and all the rest of the people in New York City gathered together and held a twin vigil both in San Francisco and along Times Square's famous steps for New York's Times Square, 42nd Street, Port Authority Bus Terminal Station subway victim. That happened in last January 15, 2022. This happened in January 15, 2022. Michelle Alisa Go, 40 years old, Asian American woman, based on reports by the police, who was allegedly pushed to death by Simon Marshall, a 61-year-old who was homeless and had several emotionally disturbed encounters even in the past. Michelle Go, as described in Wikipedia, was born in Berkeley, California. She's a member of Honor Society, a cheerleader, graduated economics at University of California, master's degree in business administration from New York University's Stern School of Business. Worked at Barclays Capital, then at Deloitte, a financial firm on audit and tax services. Michelle is seen as a rock whom friends and colleagues, as well as family, would rely on, and how she created an impact to people's lives. Ben Wei, the vigil's organizer and advocate through Asians fighting injustice, said that it is in every New Yorker's or strap hanger's worst fear when waiting behind the yellow line as the subway pulls in and being pushed into the tracks. Representative Grace Meng, DNY, emphasized to focus on the roots of the problem and more law enforcement. With the 2 years of increase in number of violence and anti-Asian hate, New York City Mayor Eric Adams addressed scapegoating that transpires with mental illness or homeless people and gave again his commitment to the AAPI community and everyone to ensure this will not happen again in the city. Crisis Assist News, U.S. Aid for Tonga by Sakshi Venkatraman, found also in NBCnews.com. There are 176 Asian American and Pacific Islander groups convincing the U.S. President Joe Biden to do and give more with the disaster calamity like the volcanic eruption and tsunami that came about in Tonga. From Wikipedia, Tonga is a country in Oceania, officially named as Kingdom of Tonga, also known as Friendly Islands, due to its congenial welcome to Captain James Cook, a British navigator in 1773. It was under the British protected state status from 1900 to 1970 with a population of 104,494, mostly are in Tongatapu, which is the main island, With 170 islands, 36 islands are inhabited. Tonga is filled with white beaches, coral reefs, tropical rainforests, lagoons, and limestone cliffs. Coalition groups and American-led activists insist the continuous needs of people in Tonga for essential necessities and personal protective equipment. And they are urging President Biden to heighten efforts on issues in climate change, which means significant variation in usual weather, and to increase the amount to be given to Tonga and not just the worth $2.5 million in additional humanitarian aid. While U.S. Agency for International Development pledged to give $100,000 for disease prevention, food, and sanitation. The Tongan American diaspora, which means population whose origin is in a separate geographic locale, have crucial ties to their families in Tonga. The underwater cable lines that were damaged during the eruption made it difficult for Tongan Americans to contact loved ones in Tonga. Assistance from Australia and British Navy ships were seen in Tonga. They had to make sure it's completely contactless since Tonga is reporting zero COVID cases at present. That's it for now. This is Glow from the Little Jade News, Asian American news and beyond for kids. Saying bye for now. Take care because I care. And may your sweetness shine and your color glow. Like,